Hi, my name's Travis Carr, and today I'm going to be discussing two articles, Digital Native and Digital Immigrant by Phil Michael Alexander, and The More Digital Technology, the Better by Genesee Carter and Aurora Matsky. First of all, I'm going to start out with asking, have you ever heard something like this before?
Have you ever had to sit down and teach your grandmother how to operate her brand new phone, or computer, or TV, or anything that was made after 1985? If you're young enough to wear distressed jeans and say things like on fleek, then of course you have. This is one of the most common problems we face as the younger generation. All of the generations above us don't know how to use technology for the life of them. Literally, if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be able to use technology for the rest of their life. But
Does that sound familiar? There's a stereotype of old people not understanding technology, and a belief that young people inherently understand technology better. Phil Michael Alexander refers to this in his article when he says, imagine the stereotype of the parent or grandparent who needs a child to set the clock on the microwave or to program a VCR. This stereotype is based on the idea that there is a difference between digital natives and digital immigrants in their ability to use technology. So the question is, what is a digital native and a digital immigrant? According to the article by Carter and Matsky, Mark Prensky, the researcher who coined the terms digital native to describe those born with unfettered access to technology, born between 1982 and 1991, and digital immigrant to describe those not born with this unfettered access to technology, or born before 1982, tells us that today's students are digital learners who, because of the ease and access of technology in their everyday lives, expect, if not demand, to use technology in the classroom. Alexander also states that it also falsely asserts that just because a person is a certain age, that person automatically knows and possesses certain skills. Young people do learn new technologies easier than older people, so digital natives have a learning advantage in how fast they learn. Back in the 90s, they also knew that they would have to teach themselves, so they didn't wait for someone to show them how to do something, and learned at whatever pace they wanted to. This meant that in the early 90s, digital natives got a big head start on learning to use computers. The question is, does the divide still exist? The VCR metaphor that was listed earlier is imperfect. Older generations only needed a surface level understanding of how a VCR worked, because it was only for entertainment. There was no incentive for them to learn how to change the time when their kid could just do it for them. Computers, on the other hand, have become ubiquitous in both our professional and private lives. Many digital immigrants had to learn to use them for work, and so they did. Digital immigrants have had 30 years to catch up to digital natives on learning to use this technology. And so today, there's a little difference between what a digital immigrant and a digital native knows, except in the case of very old digital immigrants, like my parents, who are in their 70s. Alexander also says, it might be time to stop thinking so hard about differences in experience based on age, particularly when there's a larger difference based on economics, and one based on gender, and one based on race. So, do young people still have a technology advantage? While young people still learn new technology faster, the fact still remains that they need to learn it, and there's a lot more to learn now than there was 30 years ago. At this point, even a digital immigrant myself, who was born in 75, has learned enough about technology that it would take years for a child to catch up. There's also a different problem today's kids face. Carter and Matsky say, while many young people today may be digital natives, they are also digitally naive. Many don't know how to change their Facebook privacy settings, check their school email accounts, or even how to adjust the margins in a Word document. Unlike in the 90s, where kids had to understand everything about how computers worked to keep them running, today's kids have parents that can fix any problems that come up, and they can often get away with only having a surface level knowledge of any programs they use. They've become the proverbial parent that plays movies on a VCR but can't change the time when it's wrong. Therefore, it is up to us to not assume that kids will automatically figure things out for themselves, and instead, we need to make sure that we have a curriculum designed to give kids the computer literacy they will need in the future.